Can they afford to pay you? Do you like them? Do you know people who are in that industry? Do you have a connection with them?
I love bookkeeping.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for listening to the I Love Bookkeeping podcast. My name is Hannah Robinson.
And I'm Melissa Honan.
And thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Today, we have another interview for you guys with our niche interview series, and we will be talking to Brandy Derrick with Legal Ease Bookkeeping. She is the owner of Legal Ease Bookkeeping, which specializes in helping law practices with their bookkeeping since 2016. She's been doing bookkeeping since 2001 and using QuickBooks Online since 2004. She took Bookkeeper Business Blueprint, now Bookkeeper Launch, in 2016 to help make a little extra money while sailing around the world. She never thought she would have more than 10 clients and now has over 100 clients. She and her team work virtually with attorneys all over the United States to make sure they are staying in line with Bar Association rules, help reduce time law firms spend bookkeeping, and make the attorney's life easier. She is a leader in the legal bookkeeping industry and is part of the Intuit Trainer Writer Network. She has taught other bookkeepers about legal bookkeeping at both Scaling New Heights and QB Connect. Welcome to the show, Brandy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here. I know a lot of people, it's so crazy that when you started this program, it was Bookkeeper Blueprint. That's if you know what that is, then you've been here for a long time.
She's the OG.
She is the OG. That's so cool that you've been bookkeeping actually since 2001. What made you initially want to get into bookkeeping?
Well, my dad owned several different businesses, and I was going to college at the time, and he was needing to transition away from his current bookkeeper, and he was like, Brandy, do you want to do my bookkeeping? And I was like, I don't know. Sure. I've never done this before, but I guess I'll help you out. And I just learned by doing his books for his companies. It was kind of interesting because like I said, he had multiple companies. And so each one had a different president, and they all kind of like to do things a little bit different and needed different reports. And it was a great learning experience to learn all these different things.
Yeah. So from the time you started doing bookkeeping to opening your own practice, were you niched then? Like, did you serve a lot of different clients in a lot of different industries, or were you always a part of the legal industry?
I always worked for my dad until I started my business, and he is not a lawyer. So it was just like his 6 different businesses, and they are in different industries, but they were not, none of them were attorneys.
Okay. So what made you want to get into that?
Well, when I took Bookkeeper Launch, Ben Robinson said, he had these 3 videos before you even started. And in one of them, he was like, you should niche, and here's some great criteria to come up with ideas on what your niche should be. And I can't even really remember what they all were, but it was like, can they afford to pay you? Do you like them? Do you know people who are in that industry? And I have quite a few friends who are attorneys. Do you have a connection with them? And my husband was in a motorcycle accident years ago. He's totally fine, but we used an attorney to help us collect his medical bills. And at the end of the day, when we ended up settling, we didn't even get the medical bills reimbursed. And this attorney said, hey, instead of me taking a cut of the money, you guys can have the all of it. And that just really opened my eyes to how much attorneys really help people through some of the hardest times in their lives. And it really makes me feel good to help them free up their time so that way they can go out and help other people. So they were one of the couple that I had come up with as maybe ideas for me to do as a niche. And just as I took the program, I was like, yep, this is what I'm going to do. My business is going to be niched in attorneys.
I love that origin story because I think that's really unique that it kind of happened organically, but you were kind of inspired by a situation you were in. That's really cool. So you're totally virtual, correct?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And you serve attorneys all over the country, right?
Right. I haven't counted recently, but like last year I counted for some reason and I was in 27 states at that point.
Wow. Wow. So you're based in Texas. What's the furthest away?
Probably Maine, I guess would be the
Wow.
furthest away.
That's incredible. And you have over 100, right?
Yeah. I don't actually count, but
Yeah.
I did count at some point because I was like, oh, I'm close to 100. And at that point, I think I was like 10 under. And now I've definitely gotten more than 10 clients. So I'm over 100. Yeah.
So when selecting a niche and starting your own business, what's something about I think when you decide to niche, you kind of hone in on a certain industry and you have to learn a lot about it. How did you go about that? Because I feel like, all industry, and I think if you're doing bookkeeping in general, you have to be very detail oriented. But what are some of the things that you did to get to know your industry better so that you could better serve them?
Yeah, well, and this was a suggestion from Bookkeeper Launch, but Ben said in there to go out and talk to people that that are already in the industry. So I called up 5 of my friends who are attorneys, and none of them own their own business, but they all worked for attorneys. And I was like, what are some of the problems that you see? What are the softwares that you use? What, basically, where can I help them in what I know? And then they would tell me all sorts of things like the software that they're using or words that I never even heard of before, like the IOLTA account. And just would write all this stuff down. And then I went out and researched it and did demos of the software and tried to learn it better that way.
Well, that's really cool that I feel like different industries, they have all these different kind of methods to getting to know how to better serve them. And I feel like attorneys maybe get a bad rap for being just a lot of reading and a lot of reading, a lot of talking. And I think that you've done a great job of actually getting to know the person kind of behind the desk and finding out better ways to serve them. What's been your favorite thing you think about being involved with the legal industry?
Honestly, it's working with the clients who I really know are making a difference. I have one client who just helps with special needs children and making sure that they're getting the services that the schools are supposed to be providing for them. And that just makes me feel so good to help him. And I have another client who pro bono helps children who have been victims of child pornography, and he goes and collects money on their behalf. And when they turn 18, he has this lump sum money sitting there to help them, and help them also throughout getting therapy and just help them go to college and get a new life for themselves. And those are the stories that I just absolutely love. And don't get me wrong, it is really great also to help a family law attorney that's helping somebody go through a tough divorce, or helping an immigration attorney. Someone wants to come to the United States. That's amazing too. But there's certain stories that really strike a chord with me, and I really feel great about helping them.
That's in those people are making such a big impact. And when you're kind of behind it, you're able to help them make an impact. So that's really cool that's kind of why you got involved in this industry. And I love hearing the different stories of how everybody picked their niche and how it kind of finds them. And it sounds like it kind of did that with you too.
I have a quick question.
Go for it, Melissa.
So I absolutely love everything legal. I wanted to be a lawyer when I was a kid. And then I realized, I was like, it sucks. No, you don't do it. It's not all you get to see on TV where they just get to say objection. It's mostly just research. And I was like, never mind. It's not as cool as I thought it was going to be. But I'd love to know, do you have, a super intense engagement letter for your legal clients? And, is that something that you're ever concerned about, is working with people that are just man, they know the law, right? Like, so do you ever get worried that, your contract is going to be like taken advantage of in any way?
I used to worry about that. And especially the first client who I had to let go, I was like, what if she sues me? And like, whatever. It was very stressful. But then, I had a client one time tell me that actually attorneys are really worried about getting, uh, what's it called? I don't know, in trouble with their bar association, getting a complaint filed against them with their bar association. And like, I know the ins and outs of their finances. So in some way I have a little bit of control over that. Like if there was ever an issue, not that I would threaten to do that, but I feel like I don't feel unsafe in that they're going to try to screw me in some way. I feel like we're on level playing field. Just because they know the law better than me doesn't mean that we're not still on level playing field. And honestly, most of the clients don't even read my engagement letter. They really don't. They just sign it. And then I've had some of them that are like, hey, this is a little weird wording. Can you reword this? And I'm like, sure, whatever. It's never been, anytime they come to me with something that they want reworded, it's nothing that I am opposed to, that I would think that would be a bad thing for me.
That's awesome. So what you're saying is like lawyers themselves maybe aren't litigious in a sense. But with your engagement letter, is there anything, at least working with attorneys or in your own experience? Because I get this question a lot from people that are just starting and they get worried about what they should or shouldn't include. Is there anything that you recommend to new people starting out that they should have in their engagement letter, or something that they should focus on?
I think that one of the things that I have is an NDA, and maybe other industries don't really need that as much, but I just include a non-disclosure agreement with all of my clients. Most of them request it, and because they're attorneys, just basically saying like, we're not going to share the information with anyone outside of our organization, who our clients are or anything like that. And that may be just attorney specific. I'm trying to think of other things that are in my engagement letter. I basically took Ben Robinson's template engagement letter and just changed it a little bit. And I've been using it for the last 6 years. So I'm not even sure. I don't even know exactly everything that it says in there. But, I think you want to have that if there's ever an issue, that it's mediated, and not a lawsuit. It should go to mediation first. And you want to specify that the mediation is going to be in your area. So like in your state, you do not want to have a mediation where you have to go and fly somewhere else to get that solved. And if you are looking out for yourself versus the client, maybe you want to make sure that there's a certain amount of time period that they can cancel in. I don't have that. Like, I don't care if you're supposed to renew tomorrow. If you want to cancel, then we can cancel. And I just don't, that's how I just feel like if you don't want to be a client of mine, I'm not going to make you continue to pay for it if you don't want to. But other people would definitely be like, oh, well, I have a 30-day or a 60-day. Of course you're going to have that. But that's probably just a weird thing that I do. I don't know. I can't think of anything else right now.
Today's show is brought to you by Keeper, the one app to run your bookkeeping business. Keeper helps you get faster client responses with your own custom branded QuickBooks integrated client portal. Finally, you can say goodbye to those pesky spreadsheets full of uncategorized transactions. Keeper also helps you catch those embarrassing coding errors before your clients do. And with Keeper, you can generate beautiful custom reports that your clients will absolutely love to read. To find out more, go to keeper.app. That's keeper.app. Mention I Love Bookkeeping to get 20% off your first 3 months. Again, go to keeper.app to find out more. Thank you for listening.
That's such an interesting industry to be a part of, because you're actually, I think, gaining clients and working with clients is a relationship-based practice in the first place. But I feel like when you're working with attorneys, it's very unique because you're getting to know kind of the cases that they work with. And it's, you're not directly involved, but you can kind of be behind, I guess, kind of behind their work. And it's really interesting to hear that, hear your different experiences. My question is, because you're a specific niche, what have you found is the best way to find new clients and to market to your niche?
I use LinkedIn a lot for connecting with attorneys. And then that's where I get a lot of my clients, as well as YouTube. I was able to make YouTube videos of how to do stuff for attorneys in QuickBooks. And I honestly haven't made these videos since like 5 years ago, but I still get a lot of clients off of it where they go and they're trying to figure out how to do it themselves. And then they decide, I don't actually want to do this. And when they call me up, they're already sold. They're like, you're an expert. Can I just give you my money and you fix my situation? And so that's super helpful. And then as the years have gone on, I've made better and better connections with softwares that attorneys use. And those have been a huge referral source of clients, just becoming experts in software and then getting on their preferred vendor list where they're recommending me.
That's awesome. So Melissa, did you have a question? I heard you.
Oh, no, but I was going to say, we were just talking about that in a recent episode as well, Brandy, with Tyler Otto. And I highly recommend that with the videos. They are just like evergreen, right? Because a lot of the things that we do for our niches, they're not going to change a lot over the years. But even then, even if you just go through and record your best, and then you can always redo them later if you want to, but they're a really great resource to get people to see that you are an expert in your industry. My main question, I guess, is because I'm always the one that wants to know the dollars and cents, right? What is your monthly recurring revenue or your annual revenue that you have right now with your clients?
Right now, the monthly recurring is over $50,000 a month.
Wow. That's amazing.
Wow. That's incredible.
Do you offer tax services?
I don't.
You don't. So you're just bookkeeping, and not that it's just bookkeeping, guys, right? Like, especially with what Brandy's doing. But I know a lot of people think like, oh, I can't be successful if I don't offer, all of the things. But right now you do bookkeeping and advisory services for lawyers, and you have over $50,000 in monthly recurring revenue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought I should maybe at one point go into taxes, and I started learning it, and I was just like, no, I don't want to do this. And so I just referred out.
Now, for your business, how many employees or subcontractors do you have right now?
Right now, I have 5, and I'm fingers crossed I'm going to get another one hired this week. But 3 of them are full-time, and then 2 are part-time. And one of my part-time people is just my assistant. Not just, she's amazing. But, and then we also have a contracting team who helps us. And I have no idea how many people on their team works on our account, but I think it's somewhere around 5, but I don't know.
That's fantastic. Really. And I'm going to email you after this to get that information. But so are you the only one that is advising your clients right now, or do you have like an account manager that does client facing work? How does that work?
Yeah, so I think I'm not set up the same way that you are, but I don't really work with most of my clients anymore. And in fact, that's what I'm transitioning to. So my lead bookkeepers, they're the ones that are client facing. They're the ones that talk to the clients, have the meetings with them, do the advising and so forth. And then the contracting team does a lot more of the data entry, the daily work, the easy stuff to do. And maybe my lead bookkeepers might be handling more of the payroll or the tougher, like making complex reports for them and helping them get other information.
See, that's awesome. Yeah. And that's not how I'm set up, but I really love seeing how other people set things up. I don't have the hubris to think that I do it the best way. And so I know quite a few people, that have that set up. And I really like that you have the bookkeeper, I guess kind of the lead bookkeeper on the account doing the direct advising. I could see how that would be easier because they are intimately familiar with the books of that client. Would you agree?
Yeah, they know the books, they can answer the questions faster. And it's sort of, I don't know if it's easier to build a relationship that way when you're touching the books somewhat and also talking to them, but I feel like they have really good relationships with the clients. So I like that.
What's been, in kind of turning this on the flip side of the question that I had earlier, what's been kind of, if any, has there been any pain points that you've had to overcome with your niche or with niching?
One of the things that I struggled with in the beginning was like saying no to people who were not in my industry. And so I did take on some clients, and I feel really bad about letting them go. And I have let some of them go, but we still have some like legacy clients that are not attorneys. And that's honestly, it's kind of hard because I have my team trained up on how to do stuff for attorneys. But then when I'm throwing in like, hey, can you do this other weird thing that you've never ever done before? Then it's a lot of training and stuff. And then the other thing that I think is maybe negative is sometimes I do worry about it being a small circle, or like the industry is small, even though it's not. There's 2 million plus attorneys on LinkedIn. But I'm like, what if I upset one person? Is the whole entire industry going to hate me? And am I just going to have to quit and start with a new industry or change my name? Or I don't know. Like, I worry about that.
I'm laughing because I worry about the same thing. And actually, I think my industry is a lot smaller than yours. And I get really worried about that. But I don't think, how do you overcome that fear?
I think that I just try to tell myself that, we provide good service, and I try to, if we part ways with anyone, I try to make it really great and just, kiss them out the door. If we're letting go of them, then I try to make it as painless as possible for them. And if they're letting go of us, I try to find out like what happened, if there was something on our team that didn't work well, so that way we can make the changes and just try to make it, I don't know, the separation as easy as possible for them.
What are some of the reasons that you let clients go?
This has happened a couple of times where we have asked the client for information over and over and over again, and we are not getting it. And then they get upset with us and want to know why their stuff isn't done. And I can't work with that. Like that's it. I feel bad when the stuff is not getting done. I feel like it's my fault, even when it's not my fault. And when we've been harassing you over and over for stuff and then get yelled at for not getting the stuff done, that's just over the top. I won't sleep at night. I'll cry about it. And if I cry, then that means you're gone.
That is so funny because that is my rule too. And like literally, if you make my bookkeepers cry, I'm firing you. Like that is like, it won't be me because honestly, I'm just so sensitive that like I'll cry for no reason, just randomly. But if you make my bookkeepers cry, that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's a good rule.
It's a good rule. But I like that you're essentially giving permission, right? Like, because that's the biggest pain point I think everybody has is not getting the information that they need to do their job. And then, I really appreciate that, you're so successful in what you're doing and you're telling everybody, hey, I even have that line, that boundary where I need, the information from you in order to do my job. And it's not worth my time to fight with you to get it. And I really appreciate that that's something that you guys do there as well.
Yeah. And with my team, they'll come to me and be stressed out because they feel like they're doing a bad job because I'm sitting there going, hey, why don't we have these financial reports out yet? And, and, and they're like, because the client isn't talking to me and yada, yada, yada. And so they get stressed about it. And, I, I absolutely love my dad and I loved working for him. But one of the things that I hated the most about working for him was I didn't get to choose who I worked with, that I had to work with people that I didn't get along well with. And I don't want to force my employees to be working with people that they are not getting along with or that stress them out. That's not something that is, I don't want that in my business at all.
I like hearing all the different, I think our listeners in general like hearing some of the different things that business owners go through, especially bookkeeping business owners, because there's a lot of growing pains and it's not always the picture, the perfect picture of freedom that everybody thinks of when they want to be a business owner. It's a shit ton of work. And so I think it's great to hear the different growing pains that people go through. And that's kind of why we like to talk about it. Is because it's something that everyone can relate to, but everyone can also overcome. And it sounds like you've done such a great job of overcoming these pain points and being a business owner.
I don't know if I've done a great job. There's definitely been ups and downs, but I'm constantly learning and trying to improve. So that's all you can do.
From here, it looks like you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
What can we expect from you at BKX coming up in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, I am going to be talking about masterminds. I am a part of 2 that are really, really awesome. And I have been a part of other ones. And so I just think they're so valuable. And I'd love to share my information or my knowledge on that to help other people, because I feel like they've helped me grow my business a lot. And then as part of that, one of my masterminds, everyone is going to be at BKX. So we are all going to get up and do a panel and answer questions from the audience. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's amazing. We cannot wait to hear it. I'm super excited for BKX and to see everybody.
Yeah, me too.
We always shamelessly plug BKX here on the I Love Bookkeeping podcast because clearly we're fans.
And just to be vain, like guys, it is coming up and I don't know what I'm wearing yet. So
I don't know either.
I do. I planned my outfits like yesterday.
Oh my, I don't know. So I recently lost a lot of weight and most of my clothes don't fit me now. And now I'm panicking. Well, thank you. But it's terrifying because I'm like, oh my God, it's coming up and I don't know what to wear. And I was like, I wonder if anyone else is worried about that. Am I just being silly? But
no,
that's me. That's me, guys. I don't know what I'm going to wear.
Not at all.
I have no idea either. And I'm like, I better go shopping this weekend.
Yeah. I'm going to have to like arrange like a bookkeeper shopping trip, like the Monday before BKX. Be like, guys, let's go shopping in Orlando. I have no clothes.
Oh my gosh. I unfortunately would be down for that. So
I do have one last question, before we let you go, Brandy, but if you had to sum up all of your knowledge and all of the information that you've learned over the years, what is the number one tip that you would give to bookkeepers that specifically want to go into the legal industry? What's your number one piece of advice for them?
There are so many attorneys out there and there's not enough bookkeepers to serve them. So you can go out there and be whatever type of personality you have and find clients. I just saw a lady's website. She is a superhero and her whole entire website is all superhero theme for attorneys. And I love it. It's not me at all. That wouldn't be who I want to present, but like, I love it. And I think whatever your personality is, let it shine because there's attorneys out there that are going to connect with you.
If you guys listening have questions, comments, concerns for us or for Brandy, please shoot us an email at success@ilovebookkeeping.com. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. They come out every Tuesday and Thursday. And subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We always have something fun to talk about around here. My name is Hannah Robinson.
And I'm Melissa Honan.
And thank you for tuning in to the I Love Bookkeeping podcast.
I love bookkeeping. Here's a little shout to all my friends working hard at keeping the books. You want to